I'm so grateful to be here with y'all. I'm so grateful to be Black and queer and joyful. I'm grateful to my ancestors for their tireless work guiding me and re-guiding me. I feel particularly called to bring two of my queer ancestors in the room, Rodney and Darcel, who did not have the opportunity to be Black and queer and joyful and outside while they were alive. Recently I went to the Yoyoy Kusama Infinity Rooms exhibit, which I highly recommend, and I stood in a room she had created with a platform in the center surrounded by standing mirrors on all sides. I waited in line to be in the room alone for 20 seconds before security opened the door and let the next patron in. When I walked in, I saw myself multiplied into infinity behind me. Millions of me's in a line across several mirrors on the wall. And throughout this week with you all, I have returned to this vision so many times. As I have felt the excited and anxious and urgent, like toe tapping of ancestors named and unnamed, so many generations behind me, anticipating their chance to live and live again and live again and live again, as their suffering is avenged through my healing and liberation that I can in this life. And so I'm going to read my piece. What you should know is that it's an excerpt from a novel that I'm writing called Sanctuary City. And the works that I'm going to read are not in the same place in the book, but I've arranged them here for you. And that's all you need to know. Fire. That animal thing, that untamable, ruinous thing that does engulf your life in a fan of flame, suffocate it and make it look beautiful to you, hold you by the neck and change your scent, make all of the things you've ever owned and ever loved one charred color and one charred smell. My mother has set many fires. Years before she smelled the top of my head as a child and knew I would love her back, she walked to the store on an errand and saw a dead vine whoring tangled in the uniformed existence of a fence, and she set the fire as she walked. Flour, milk, a head of cabbage, she walked the route back, and the entire fence was aflame like a Bible story. She hurried home. My mother says I've always smelled this way. The top of my head has always warned her, like the smell of something on fire. The smell that says something is happening, something needs your attention, something is moving towards you, becoming real, maybe in front of your face. Maybe she manifested me before I was born. Maybe I was there. I can see her lighting that fence on fire when I hear her talk. Fire. Is nothing sacred to you? Is no thing sacred to you? Where do you draw the line? Is everything fair game? Ruthless fire wants the house and the keys. It says, let me hold on to that metal until it's not. In our ghettos, children light their beds on fire when their mothers are evicted. Do you ever look at your house and wonder what of it you would save? Fire licks both palms and spreads more, wants everything until there is nothing. No one wishes fire on anyone else lightly. Fire is getting you now. It knows the bad things you said, at least it acts that way. Like it knows all of the bad things all of your ancestors have ever said or ever thought. It acts as the sole victim to each of these crimes ever, and it remembers, and it makes you remember too. Wring out all of your guts trying to remember. It gets its revenge. If it hasn't yet, then you better enjoy the civil enemies you have left. Fire. That hot thing that ruins your family and makes you wet your bed at night when it flames your dreams unquenched. It threatens again and again to ruin you and ruin you better and ruin you more. She didn't mean for us to be there. She didn't know that we would be there. After my mother set fire to our house, I started wetting the bed again. I convinced Malik that it was him. After a while, he'd been so careful to not drink anything after dinner and pee before bed, and soon we'd all known it was me. When we went to visit my mother in the hospital, she was wearing all white like an angel. She had called us at my grandmother's house beforehand to tell us to bring her a 2-piece and a biscuit from Popeyes. In the storefront, one on Geneva Mission Street, not the one on Mission and 22nd, where she said they fried the pigeons that lingered outside. Sitting across from us at a too-long table, she licked her fingers between each bite and complained about the hospital food. She said it all tasted like bad nothing. I got hungry for the first time since the fire watching her eat. I've been too shaky to taste any of my food for the past 2 days since. Her eyes were larger than looked comfortable for her head, and she talked over herself before finishing a sentence. They had called it manic. She complained about the cooking class she'd taken earlier in the day in the ward. They only let us use plastic utensils. How the hell am I supposed to cut anything with this? She began to rub the cutting edge of the plastic knife she'd used to spread butter, then grape jelly, then strawberry jelly, onto the soft inside of her cracked biscuit across her wrist mockingly. When she pulled the knife lightly back and forth on her wrist, she flipped her tongue out to the side and played dead. There was still jelly on the knife, and I was scared it would get onto her white clothes. I covered Malik's eyes. He pinched my hand and went back to looking invisible. A nurse rushed over and didn't hesitate to pull my mother up into a tight hole like you do for a child for their own good. I held my breath until my mother surrendered. The nurse pried the knife out of my mother's hand. It wasn't long before my mother said she felt tired, that Malik and I should go home. She didn't acknowledge that she tried to burn our house down. I don't know if she'd heard I was inside that day skipping 6th period. She got up before us and pulled us into tight hugs while we were still in our seats. I could smell her hair. It still smelled like fire. I inhaled a mouthful when she bent her head to hug me, and I disappeared into her white, rough canvas shirt.